Hey everybody, how you doing? This is about to be a really fun video because we are comparing these two guys right here. Now, right off the bat, if I said, hey man, come on, let's go catch some deers, and I said, which one are you going to pick? This guy or this guy? Which one would you pick? I'm going to tell you which one you should pick. This one. This is a 7.62 by 39. This is a 300 Blackout. Now, will both of them take a deer? Sure. But let's dive into the data as to why the 7.62 by 39 is a much better pick when it comes to deer hunting or hog hunting or hunting really any medium to large size game. 7.62 by 39 versus the 300 Blackout. So, what I have done is made a big old chart, done a bunch of research on a bunch of factory loadings, both in 7.62 by 39 and in 300 Blackout, to give us a good data set of drop charts and also energy at distances out to 1,000 yards. So I'm going to show you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 factory loadings, and we're going to compare the drop charts and the energy out to 1,000 yards with both of those data points. So let's just pull up the map. So here they are. And remember, I am speaking from a hunting perspective. So I did not include any full metal jackets in here because in many states that's illegal. And I think all of us would agree full metal jacket is just not the best option for catching a deer. It's really not the best option for anything other than being cheap to make and cheaper to buy. So there's no full metal jacket on here. So here's this whole chart. Okay, right off the bat. So there's green, yellow, and red. What this means, this is the drop chart. Green means good, red means bad, yellow means meh. Green means good, meaning it drops the least amount of that column. When we're comparing all of these different factory loadings, bright green or the greenest means this thing drops the least, and red means it drops the most. So right off the bat, what do you notice? The 7.62 by 39 loadings are all green, meaning from a drop perspective, 7.62 by 39 at all these varying distances drops less than all the 300 Blackouts. The only 300 Blackout that is green on this chart is the 110 grain Hornady Black 300 Blackout. It has comparable drop to all of the 7.62 by 39 rounds that we have on this list. So just to cover them real quick, we've got some Remington Core Locked, Hornady Black, Federal Fusion, Winchester Super X, a couple different Winchester and Hornady loads in the 300 Blackout. So, all that being said, you can find your favorite one, but generally speaking, 7.62 by 39 is loaded in 120 something odd grain. 300 Blackouts is across the board. So from this, from a boot drop perspective, grab the 7.62 by 39. I really, honestly, they're all pretty similar from a drop perspective. But if you're going to take 300 Blackout, take 110 grain because it has a very similar drop chart as all the 7.62 by 39s. It's not better, but it's real close. Then you look at the 150 grain 300 Blackout loadings. They drop kind of medium. Then you go down to the subsonic, the 208 grain Hornady AMAX and the Hornady Sub X 190 grain. They're subsonic, so obviously they're going to drop real fast. From 100 yards to 200 yards, those two subsonic Hornady loadings drop almost 3 feet. So they drop like a sack of potatoes. On top of that, I will never recommend to you to hunt with subsonic ammunition. It's a terrible idea. You shouldn't do it. It's just not good. There's not enough energy, and we'll look at that here on the next chart. But if you're hunting, never use subsonic ammo. Then just to look at the chart there, it shows you a pretty picture of those subsonics drop off the cliff immediately, and then the ranges of all those other different things and color codings. You guys can pause there and look at that. So now, the drop, that might have been okay, yeah, whatever, we don't really care. Energy, when we're talking about energy, that perks up a lot more people's ears, mine included. So drop, okay, most people, myself included, are hunting deer, at least whitetail deer, at 100 yards and in. Maybe 200 yards if you have a field somewhere where you're on some beans. But me personally, I don't have a single spot where I can go deer hunt more than 100 yards. That's just the way it is. There's trees everywhere. So really, drop doesn't really come into as much consideration as the energy does of these rounds. So remember, we're comparing 300 Blackout versus 7.62 by 39. How much energy do they have? Well, let's walk through those exact same rounds. But let's look at it from an energy perspective this time. Remember, 7.62 by 39 was all green. What's going to happen on the energy charts? Well, let's pop it up. Hey, what do you know? The 7.62 by 39s are all green. Yeah, especially when we're talking about hunting distances, right? 500 yards and in, 7.62 by 39 factory loadings have the most energy in those columns at each respective range. So just look at the first column. The 7.62 by 39 Remington Core Locked has the most energy out of all of those loadings. Federal Fusion, Hornady Black, you know, the AMAX, the Sub X, the Winchester Deer Season XPs. I know some of you guys like those because you've told me. Same story here, guys. If you're going to hunt with a 300 Blackout, the 110 grain loadings are going to be the ones that you want to grab. It's going to drop less. It's going to carry the most energy at hunting distances. And Hornady Black is the 110 grain I put on here, but I know Nosler does a 110. Who else does a 110? I think Barnes does a light 110 and 300 Blackout. There's probably 20 factory loadings in a 110, but I didn't put them all here. But just for the sake of example, I did some lights, mediums, and heavies in the 300 Blackout. Now, I talked about never hunt with subsonic ammunition. Here is a good example of why. So, off the bat, you might think, oh, it's cool, it's quiet, you know, I might not scare the deer, you know, my neighbor might not know that I'm out here catching deers or whatever. Look at the energy. At the muzzle, those subsonic Hornady rounds don't even have 500 foot-pounds of energy. 200 yards is 400. That's not much energy. If you're catching deers, you want that shock of a ba-boom to drop the deers. I do not recommend anybody hunts with subsonic ammo. But here's the energy chart, guys. You guys can pause this, pick out whichever brand, whichever one you like to lean to. Spend a bunch of time putting all this data together. Pause it, take a look at it, let me know what you think. Let me pop up the picture. Huge variance when it comes to energy across all these loadings, as you can see there in the chart. The best and the worst, but 7.62 by 39 has more energy, especially when we're talking about hunting distances. Can't argue it, the facts are the facts. But hey guys, appreciate you watching. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you hunt deer with 300 Blackout? Do you hunt deer with 7.62 by 39? There are absolutely quite a few factory loadings. Actually, more than quite a few. There's quite a bit. We listed 10 here in this video just for sake of example. There's probably closer to 100. But let me know. Do you have any experience taking deer with either one of these? Believe it or not, I do not. But it's on my list this year to try to check these cartridges off the list, taking whitetail with 7.62 by 39 and 300 Blackout. That's one of my goals, is to take a whitetail with everything that's out there. It's going to take me a long time, especially as they keep coming out with new stuff. But hey, appreciate you watching and come along with me comparing 7.62 by 39 and the 300 Blackout. Thanks you guys for requesting this information. You guys are always asking me to compare different things. These are the facts in a pretty color-coded video. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you on the next one. Hooty hoo!
Load it up and get it on as soon as you can. 30 on 6, 10 mil, 50